All right. So today we got Ethan Hinds on the podcast with the Billion Bet. Ethan's out in New Jersey with Hindsight Realty. Thanks for coming on.
Dude, thanks for having me. I'm pumped to be here. I'm wired right now. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, Ethan, we've talked a few times before, but not super in depth. What
Yeah.
originally got you into real estate?
The first thing that was the idea. I've always been kind of like an entrepreneur. I tested things out, tried selling things online. When I was, even before high school, I was mowing lawns. I was a local kid in the neighborhood who would be doing odd jobs for everybody. And what got me into real estate was the idea that 90% of millionaires built their wealth through real estate. I was like, okay, this is a tool that people use to build wealth and financial freedom. I want wealth and financial freedom. I should probably enter this market. It was as simple as that. And, I was about to go to college, and right before doing so, I ended up having a gap year situation with the Coast Guard. I broke my wrist. If we talk about that later, we do. And the guy who I worked for at the time started a real estate company in 2019, and he onboarded me on. He was my personal mentor, and that's how it just kickstarted. I met somebody, he became my mentor, and I went all in on the real estate industry.
Man, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So, you were in basic training and you broke your wrist?
Yeah, so I was committed to the Coast Guard Academy, and what that is, it's 4 years of school and then 5 years of service. And after I was accepted, you normally start swab summer, which I believe it's a 7 week program over the summer. However, after my commitment letter was accepted and prior to actually going, I broke my wrist. So they deferred me, which meant I had a guaranteed spot in the following class year. So I couldn't participate in the class that I originally, had expected to. So I pretty much had to wait out an entire year. And through those 12 months, the only requirement they gave me was to take 3 classes at OCC, which is Ocean County College. It's a local county college.
Okay.
And during the process of me, I signed up. I was taking classes at the time. I met Gil Olson, who became my mentor, and I knew I wanted to build wealth, financial freedom, enter the real estate market, but I was planning on doing that after school and after working. And, I said, it, why not do it now? So I dropped all my classes, and he became my mentor, and I got my real estate license. And that was 2 years ago.
Gil has his own real estate company.
Yeah, so he partnered with this guy Joe Oz, and they have Joe Oz Group, the broker with EXP Realty, and they run a real estate team. So they help train agents, they provide leads, they provide training, mentorship, and they turn you from a noob who has no idea what they're doing, and they get you into production. So helping buyers and sellers transact.
Okay. And did you first start door to door for him? What were you doing for him? Sales, calling?
Yeah, so I've tried pretty much everything. The first thing we did was cold calling. That's how Joaz built his business. He would cold call different kinds of lead sources. So that would be expired listings. You'd prospect, just call neighborhoods. So you'd take a recently sold home that your team or somebody else might have sold, or even maybe you did one transaction. You'd call that neighborhood and prospect for more business. And then where they've really gone hard on, which is whereas I really started, was they joined the Zillow Flex program. So what Zillow does, realtor.com, what they do is they sell leads to real estate agents. So they'll have a listing that's on the market, a buyer will inquire on it, and they'll sell that contact information to a realtor like myself. Now, what they were doing differently is they were partnering with teams. So our team was partnered with Zillow, and they would provide that buyer connection to us for free, and we would pay them out a referral fee when we close and transact with that lead that they provided. So all my job was my phone would ring, it'd say Zillow Premier Agent, I'd pick it up, it'd be a buyer inquiring on a property. I'd say, hey, this is Ethan Hinds. I see you inquired on 123 Main Street here in Bayhead, New Jersey. When would you like to go see that one? I'd meet them at the property, and my job would be to provide a 5-star consumer experience and to get that person and help them buy their first home.
And I've heard mixed reviews about these Zillow buyers on their qualification.
Yeah, there's a lot of controversy with it.
How have you found the conversion rates with those Zillow leads specifically compared to other like lead sources? And Were those people more long-term buyers? Did you get many sales that way?
Great question. For me, I was 18. It's hard to have somebody hire you and represent them with the largest financial decision of their life. So I saw it as an opportunity as if I were to go to college. It was real estate school for me. So I would get these leads, I'd get free appointments. How qualified they weren't great. Most of them weren't approved or qualified to purchase a home. They haven't even started that process yet. So a lot of these connections wouldn't transact for 3 to 6 months from the initial phone call. The conversion rate, my conversion was sitting around 8%, I think it was, which is pretty good. So, I'd get 10 connections. I'd go on 10 initial appointments. I'd follow up and go on appointments with 2 or 3 of those initial clients.
Okay.
And then I'd convert, 1 out of 10.
That's not bad.
Yeah. So it's not terrible. But the other thing to consider is my payout is not good. So I'd close on this buyer for a $500,000 home. My $10,000 commission check, I'm paying out a 35% referral to Zillow, then I'm paying out a 50% referral to the team, and then I'm paying out a 20% referral to my broker, and then I pay my taxes, and then there's my net. So, I wasn't making money. I was not making money, but I was gaining experience. And from when I got my license, it took me 6 months to do my first transaction. And on that 7th month, I put 3 people under contract. So it works. The Zillow connections, they work. They're not going to make you money, but they're going to build, that foundation for you to move on and actually help people that may be in your sphere of influence, or the people that are actually going to get you paid over the next, 3, 5, 10 years, however long it takes.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
And I know I've seen you even door knock as well, right?
Yeah. So I've done door knocking. This is a whole nother rabbit hole, but, I hired a door knocking coach. I tried that for a couple of months. Door knocking is not for me.
Okay.
It's not. There's different kinds of prospecting. Some of it is, everyone's different. But I tried that for a couple of months. I didn't get any business out of it. I did get leads out of it. I had really good conversations with homeowners or potential buyers out of it, but it wasn't for me. You have to be really pushy. You have to, there's a lot of little techniques and tactics and just things that didn't match with my personality that you have to incorporate in order to get business out of it. And you also have to be extremely consistent, and you have to do it for hours on end, days on end, weeks on end, months on end. So door knocking wasn't for me. Cold calling, I still cold call. I don't mind it. I'm very comfortable with having a cold call conversation. And so, yeah, I'll still generate some business through cold calling. And right now, primarily my focus has been putting value on social media and creating an ecosystem to funneling clients through there. That's been my priority now. But yeah, I have tried door knocking.
I just have to give you props. Those videos you made inside of that house where it was torn down to the studs, where you did a one-on-one interview with somebody. I really like those.
Thank you.
Those are top tier.
Yeah, I still have 6 or 7 in the draft saved. I'm actually super pumped because right now I did another video with this guy, Pete Riley, and he's a mortgage broker.
Okay.
I've been banging, before we hopped on, I was editing all the videos. 5 really good 10 out of 10 clips. I've already got 8, and there's still 12 minutes of video to put together. So I'm planning on posting once a week with that. And then I have another collaboration that I'm still working on.
Good for you.
That's
awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a really good video. And it's just been collaborating, cutting, creating, and providing value out there. That's been the goal.
So now what's your favorite way to get leads?
My favorite way, I closed on my first client that came from social media. That was the best lead ever. And it was a family friend, a friend of mine I went to elementary, I grew up with. We weren't very close, but her mom needed help making a home purchase, and she had to get out ASAP. And she shot me a text and she said, "Hey, I see, she was at the time talking to other agents in the area, who of which I'm also have very mutual good relationships with." And this is where the experience with Zillow was huge, because she'd send me a text message. Told me about the situation her mom's in, and she noticed that, I've been posting on social media. I've been an active realtor helping buyers and sellers. And as soon as I got the text message, I gave them a call, and we had them under contract on a home in 2 weeks.
Wow.
So,
2 weeks.
and I would not have been able to do that with the 14 months I was taking those cold internet connections. So, that's the foundation that you need to convert the clients even when they're coming to you.
Most definitely. I see
Yeah.
that a lot in my business too. You got to coax them along sometimes, get them to go. Wow. And within, generating, because you're generating little different types of leads on social media,
Yeah.
more so these like home buyers. Do you find that like an Instagram versus a Facebook, you get different results? Have you tried more than one channel?
The thing, I have tried different platforms. Like I was posting on TikTok for a while. My content was all over the place. I'm still trying to find my niche, and I still finally feel like I've found it. And I like Instagram. Instagram is the platform that right now I'm just going to focus on. And there's so much energy that you can expend on different things, and every platform's different. And you have to treat, the content you make on every platform has to be treated differently. And there's just not I just don't have enough output right now to focus on multiple platforms. So I've primarily just been doing Instagram, and my focus with it is sort of like presenting my lifestyle. So my hobbies, fishing, surfing, snowboarding, the things that I enjoy doing, presenting my lifestyle, because I grew up here on the Jersey Shore. So I also want to show the lifestyle that you can live. If you're going to buy a home and raise a family here in the Jersey Shore, this is what my lifestyle looks like. This is what your lifestyle could look like too. That's one idea. And then the other end of it is just providing value. So collaborating with business owners, even if they're not relevant to real estate, I just want to collaborate with people who've built successful businesses and are very, they're just intelligent people. They've failed because and if you've succeeded in any business, you've failed and you've learned, and you've done that on repeat for years on end. So if I can collaborate with these people, and I learn a ton with I'm probably going to learn a bunch of about myself just talking with you. There's so many things that you can learn, and at the same time you're providing value online, which is really cool. Yeah.
100%, man. And that's really learning from other people is something I've taken for granted at the beginning. Like, because I've been, like how you said you used to cut grass when you were younger. I did that for years. I ended up, I actually started it. I ran my landscaping company out of the back of a Ford Fusion car for quite a while.
No
then I got
way.
a truck.
Mine was out of a Jeep Patriot.
Exactly. You know how that is. But
Oh
like,
yeah, it's fun.
I mean, you fail so many times, but one of them is gonna work, man. One of them's gonna work, and you have to understand that, because you could fail 1,000 times, but if you try one more time and that one more time hits, you're fine.
Yeah. And then, he hit that exponential growth phase where it's just through the roof. And yeah.
But
And
that's a
momentum
dangerous
is huge
phase.
too. Yeah, that is dangerous. That's what I feel like you probably hit it. I mean, you get to the point where there's more business than you can handle. I'm not there yet. I'm still.
But like, it's what can you do to get there? Like, because if you know that, like, have you tried other ways of reaching out to people? For instance, like even print advertising.
That's a really good question. A lot of it was mostly cold calling neighborhoods. I haven't done print advertising. I've mailed letters before. I have uh, taken internet connections, so Zillow, Realtor.com, and then I've done door knocking. So those have been like the three forms of prospecting that I've really have had experience with. Some of which I've had results, others I haven't.
How competitive is the real estate market where you are in terms of number of realtors versus number of buyers? Like, for example, where I
Yeah.
live, there's one realtor who basically runs my entire neighborhood, and there's a new
Mm-hmm.
realtor that moved in maybe 4 years ago or so, and apparently she, like I, just driving around, I don't really see her with many like houses for sale. Like even though she's lived in the neighborhood, the one lady just kind of, she's always
Yeah.
been there type thing.
That's a great question. I don't know the exact stats. There's a lot of people that have the real estate license. There's a very low barrier to entry. All it takes is $300, 2-week course. You pass the state exam, boom, you got your real estate license.
Yeah.
Most people that have their license, they're not full-time agents. That means they probably have a full-time job. A lot of teachers have their real estate license. That's a very common thing. So there's definitely a lot of competition out there. And then you have the market dominator. So just how the business works, there's 10% that do 90% of the business in all markets. That's just across the board because you have full-time agents and you have part-time agents. And then you have the full-time agents that do they do, just like you said, they dominate the neighborhood. They have a majority of the listings and they control the inventory. So they see everything. Now there's a point in time where these people leave the business and then you have all these transactions which are going to get moved onto the next full-time agent. And, I'm trying to make that be me. That's the goal.
Yeah.
And this tends to happen during market cycles. So right now, we just had an interest rate hike. When rates hike, the volume of sales drop. The volume of our sales has dropped about 40%. I'm pretty sure it is. And what that means is we get paid. How we make money is based on the commission splits on the volume of sales. So realtors' income has just dropped 40%. So now you have all of these realtors who got their license, tried the business. They're no longer getting business. They're leaving the industry. Right now, we have tens of thousands of agents leaving the industry. And, when the market cycle turns around and the rates drop and the volume of sales go back up, I'm right here on the sideline building my business, creating the ecosystem so that the business funnels to me. And
Exactly.
that's the idea. Yeah.
And you have to do that. That's essential, really. I mean,
Exactly.
always new avenues of prospecting aren't bad. I wouldn't necessarily go dump all your money into it.
Yeah.
However, around here we have like a Save On type magazine, like one of those home buyer type things. You could get your name in something like that on like a page or two for, a couple $100. And unless you're going to do like a half page advertisement or something bigger than that, it probably wouldn't be worth it. But just, put your face on it, tell them what you do and that you like surfing and fishing.
Yeah.
And you're going to connect with somebody just based off of those two interests alone. And
Mm-hmm.
if they see your name and face enough, because this is a long play, like you're saying, and if you're here for another 10 years, you might be able to get a house or two, just in 10 years off of somebody you met, right? They
Yeah,
might
and a
refer
lot of
you
people
and
they'll have farms. So what they'll do is they'll have neighborhoods that they send out monthly mailers to. And you're right, that is a long game. Um, and I definitely will get into that. Have you had success doing that kind of marketing in a way? Is that yeah, a
a
lot?
lot, a
That's pretty
lot.
awesome. Okay, we might have to talk later some other day this week and get me into that.
I've contacted I will say I've contacted with the utmost confidence
Yeah.
75% of homeowners in my town.
Wow,
Um,
that's huge.
and it took me months, but I created a system. I found out that, X amount of flyers out gives me one job, and I figured out a way to make it profitable, right? So that there's absolutely no way I can lose money by passing out flyers. It's physically impossible, man. It gets old. Trust me, it gets old. But Ethan, from like March, February until May, June, I passed out flyers basically every single day. Like I would skip workout, pass out flyers instead.
And
Man,
walk for a couple hours.
yes,
Yeah.
walk for a couple hours, skateboard, right? Get on a bike. You gotta make it efficient, right? But if
Yeah.
you can make it efficient enough, get an electric skateboard, right? You invest a little bit of money, dude. You could do 250 houses an hour, right?
Wow.
And what's the return on that?
Yeah,
You just need one
we'll
buyer.
definitely, yeah, one buyer would pay for
But like I was saying,
a lot of flyers. I can't even
from
run the numbers.
from
That's that's
February
incredible.
until June, I pass out those flyers.
Yeah.
From basically, I passed out flyers for the first time this weekend because I didn't have anything to do. Okay.
Okay.
So my business was sustained from June until September 24th. Okay. Without me spending 1 hour of time on advertising just because I put in like 3 or 4 months of work.
And these are all door hangers.
No, man, these are like anything from door hangers to actually stuff like that you mail out through the post office to stuff that you there's ways of doing it, but we could talk about it.
Yeah, we'll definitely, especially because right now we're entering that January, February, March. That's the time to do it.
Telling you, man,
Uh, and that's yeah,
it's just a numbers game, really.
yeah. Everything's a numbers game, baby.
They know you, dude. You just gotta like I passed out like 20,000 flyers, man, house to house.
I'm gonna take that advice and run with it over here.
You should, dude, because you only need one sale, right? That's all you need. And then you need another one, and then you need another one.
And it's also the best thing about that is you're also targeting a certain neighborhood. A lot of my business right now, I'm trying to shrink how far I have to go, and I'm just trying to shrink it so I can have specific neighborhoods in which I do business. I know a lot about my local neighborhood, but I'm driving for 35, 40 minutes to do a deal in like Marlboro, or I was going 45 minutes north, in towns that of which I knew little to nothing about. Keyboard. I know you don't know these towns.
You got to try and be able to connect with these people because you got to say, look, I know this area. I grew up here. This is my town.
And that's an instant thought. It's like, yeah, I grew up at Bayhead Elementary School. I went to the high school right around the corner. Your kids probably go there. I might know your kids. I'm 20.
Exactly. And man, that's how I actually resonate with a lot of people with my age is that you call in, I'm a mobile repair service. So people sometimes are a little bit like weary, like, oh, well, he's going to come to my house and then, who knows, right? I'll never see him again. But I tell people, oh, I live, down the street by this and this. It builds rapport with people. It really does help, man.
Yeah. And you're a local business. People like supporting local
Yeah.
businesses.
I tell them, oh, I went to the local high school. I go to
Yeah.
college down the road. It's all just building connections and relationships with these people, really.
Really, I'm actually really happy you brought that up because I never even had that I've never thought about implementing something like that.
And just remember, like it took me, a few months to hit all of the houses in my neighborhood, but I only hit them once, Ethan, and I'm sure I skipped a few,
Okay.
right? So
Yeah.
I can hit these people a second time, and they've only ever gotten my flyer twice, but I had business sustained for months just off round one. So now we're going to do it a second time. We're going to get business sustained for months. Plus, all of the people who are return customers are also going to call,
Yeah. Because
right?
your business is also probably fairly seasonal, right?
Exactly. I'm doing tune ups, I'm doing regular scheduled maintenance, trying to get where, because the money's not in the repairs, the money's in the tune ups. It's in doing the oil changes, the spark plug changes, changing the paddles, sharpening the blades, just the thing that you can make standardized. Because if you're going to it's like, this is the hard part with flipping houses. It's because it's not standardized. Every house
Yep.
is completely different, and it creates a huge risk, right?
Hmm.
That's why people wholesale because they don't want to deal with the flip. They just want to find the deal and send it to somebody else.
Yeah. And that's the hard part with me is a lot of successful businesses, a key point is not just finding one deal, but having that deal pay out, like a subscription based model in a way. That's a really good business model because you know exactly what's coming into your business every single month. And that's the part with real estate that's difficult is, we can't get a subscription based model where clients are paying out every month. But what you can do is creating a network of referrals where one relationship helping one person will lead to helping three more.
And that's where finding good contractors, and you could say, hey, look, I'm going to close these people on a house. I know that they need flooring. I'm going to go call some flooring people, just see, right? Just see which ones are good. See which ones have good Google reviews. And you can add them to your like sphere of influence, basically. Make an Excel chart,
Yep.
I'm sorry.
That's exactly what I have, a allied resources chart. Yep.
Man, and you want your homeowners to come and ask you questions. I have people call me, they say, hey, you know, like a flooring guy, and these weird questions, you know. I'm like, I'm not a garage door tech, but if I knew a garage door tech, which I don't, I could send the business right to him.
Yeah. And that's actually something I've also been working on just on the back end, is building relationships with other business owners who of which I can do business with forever in the foreseeable future. You know, if I I've had two driveways I had to subcontract to people. That's $35,000 worth of work. I just gave 35 grand worth of business to somebody simply because I helped them buy a home, and now I have to contract out this work. So you're right. You know, that's I have been trying to find the best way to find the best allied resources in the area, and a lot of that has been like Google reviews and searching on Google and just having conversations with these people. Um, but yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, you got to find like some unique sort of meetup, something where you could find people that are in these spaces almost and just pound the pavement really. Like I
Mm-hmm.
know you got your shirts now. You go into
Yep.
public, you wear it, you just talk. You got to every conversation you got to mention, "Oh, I'm in real estate. I'm a realtor. I know people, you know, I got subcontracting friends."
And like you said, it's all a numbers game. How I look at my business is the amount of money I make is directly proportional to the number of people that of which I talk about buying and selling real estate with. So that's the game for me, is how many people am I talking about buying or selling real estate with? That's how much business I'm going to generate.
Exactly. And that's how it really is with every business. If you're not talking to people, the phone's not ringing, you're not making money.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because it's like I'll get in the conversation about other things, and it's like it almost becomes hard not to talk about it sometimes because that's all I think about all day is growing my business.
But you have to become obsessed, man.
That's the thing. I am fucking obsessed. So it's like, screw all of that. I like doing this. So I'm going to keep doing it. Yeah.
And you're gonna make it work, and you know you're gonna make it work. Like I know when Mike Fallon introduced us, I knew you were
Yeah.
a key player, that you're a hard worker, man, and
Thanks, man. You too.
I can see it. I can see it.
Appreciate it. I've just finished. I'm like putting together the office right now. I just moved out to my neighbor's house. So I've all day I've just been in here just doing things. If I don't have something to do, I find something to do, bro.
And
It's that easy.
but you got to find stuff that makes money, man. I know
Is
that
yeah, that's the hard part.
every hour of flyers I pass out, I'm basically guaranteed one job because of how
Wow.
many I can pass out, how quickly. You know, I bought an electric skateboard for $2,000, dude, just so I could pass out flyers faster. And that skateboard paid itself off 10 times over. I'm telling you, man.
That's sweet. I might have to get myself one of those.
Man, it makes because it's your time is money, dude. If you're
Yeah.
walking to every single door, dude, I'm gonna smoke you because I got wheels.
You got
I
wheels.
got wheels, dude.
Yeah.
You gotta, and then you have something, you know, you could practice surfing with it, right? It's similar.
Yeah, there you
It's like
go.
snowboarding. If you can snowboard, you can do this.
Yeah. What kind of electric skateboard did you get? I know. Those. I tried it once. My cousin had one.
Yeah,
I don't have one, but those things are fun.
yeah, man. You
They're hard to learn though.
you can pick it up, and it's a tool to make money ultimately. If you can,
Yeah.
and anything really is like, you know, you just gotta invest in yourself. You gotta save when you can, but just
Yeah.
ultimately make sure that whatever you're doing is making you cash flow.
Especially where you spend your money too. I've recently made huge financial mistakes where I've put money into systems or uh, signed contracts with certain people who of which I wasn't generating business from, and I've lost a lot of money doing that. But at the same time, that's for me, this one contract was a $3,500 mistake that I learned. If I haven't spent the money, I wouldn't have learned that. So, that's also been a big part for me is where do I implement my time and where do I implement my money to multiply and grow my business. And, that's, it's just about efficiency on, your time management, which is not an easy thing to master.
Another thing would be like whenever I go in, I try and find different small businesses to support,
Okay.
and in doing so, they usually have a spot where they support other small businesses. So I leave my flyers places. I've gotten a few jobs that way, especially in landscaping. I got a lot of jobs from leaving my flyers at places. With real estate, that would be a totally an option.
Yeah. One thing I've done, and I've learned this from Ryan, is I'll there's a local coffee store down the road, and I'll sit there and do all of my admin work for 2, 3 hours. And I mean, I haven't gotten any business from it, but there are people that I know that come through and I just bump into them and I talk to them for 20 minutes.
Like here's one for you. Your
It's good.
computer, right? Everybody has a computer. Some people put stickers on their computer though, right?
I have stickers. I don't have my own sticker. What am I thinking?
See, man, look, you could put free home appraisal with a QR code and then put like literally a picture of your face on it so they realize, or like a cartoon picture of your face so they know that whoever this home appraisal is for is the guy who's sitting at the computer, and they're going to say, "Oh, do you do home appraisals?" "Yeah, I do actually. I'm with Hindsight Realty." Bam. You sit at the coffee shop and nobody knows
I'm
what you're
writing
doing
that
at the coffee
down.
shop, man.
Laptop sticker. I always have to write these things down because then they won't get done.
Yeah, dude. That's a huge one, man. Every single person, you could be missing out on a sale because of.
Yeah. You don't talk about real estate.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
It's crazy how things work.
Like Joe, it's
It's
a lot
all
of
it's,
attraction, really.
it's all about eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, eyes,
And that's
and
why like social media is huge because when I was door knocking, Ryan used to, Ryan, he would always be yelling at me about shit. He was like, dude, how many doors do you knock in a day? And I go, all right, 2 hours, I knock 150 doors, right? And he goes, okay, how long did it take you to make that video you post on social media? 5, 10 minutes. That got 1,500 views, and you're out here door knocking 100 doors and 150 doors, taking 2 hours out of your day. And for me, it was just, I need to be doing more of that because it's getting more eyes and that's going to generate more business. The flyers, like that's good because I can target neighborhoods, and it also, for you, it works. So
and
for me, it'll probably
don't
work
get hung
too.
up in the social media game, though, man. Just
Yeah.
like I don't like with full transparency here. I don't plan on making any money from this podcast. I
Yeah.
don't I don't foresee it. My dad asked me, he said, "Well, Anthony, how is your podcast going to be profitable? Why are you doing a podcast if it's not profitable?" Well, I enjoy it. That's why I'm doing the podcast. I'm trying to build a community basically. I'm trying to get an audience going. But I'm not doing it to make money, right? So just because you're getting views doesn't mean you're making money. You got to remember that. Ryan could say, "Oh, you need views, man. You need views." But if your views are coming from kids who are 18 years old, shit, they don't have 3 years of income, do they?
Yeah.
Right?
100. You're right.
Right?
And that was kind of my counter argument, actually. Now that I think about it, I was like, dude, but I need to talk. I'm 20. I need to talk to people that are 40, 35. So you're right. I can't fully focus on that.
No, man, you
Fuck,
can't.
I'm learning so much right now, dude. This is why I love doing this.
I 100%, man. But I mean, it's just things to
Yeah.
consider ultimately. You can't. People always say, put your eggs in one basket. Your eggs are in real estate. That's a given. But
Yeah.
you have to make sure that those eggs are hatching, right? Because you can't. Because if you sit on them forever, then they're just gonna go dormant or whatever. Nothing's
That's a
gonna
good
happen.
analogy.
Like you gotta choose your avenue, which obviously is real estate. but you
Yeah.
can talk in your videos about lifestyle and fishing. You know, I enjoy watching these videos. They're entertaining,
Yeah.
and
And
it's going to grow your
that's
following.
why you're doing the podcast. You enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
And I've started enjoying creating videos. I've started enjoying the collaborations. Right now, time is flying. This is like the best part of my day right now is talking with you. I love doing this. It's fun. And I learn from it too. And who knows on the back end, maybe you get business from it 5 years from now, but that's not the main goal. The main goal is to do something you enjoy doing and to learn and to self-improve. And yeah, that's huge.
Exactly, man. Just don't forget about what makes you money ultimately, because that's what keeps the lights on and pays the bills.
Yeah, that's true. And it's not always it's almost never the things you really want to do. But some,
Bingo. It's never
that's
what you want to do, right? But
it's
it's what you
never what
have
you
to
want to
do.
do. But it's what you have to do. Yeah. And you got to do it even when you don't want to.
100%. Well, hey, Ethan, we're starting to run out of time today for the podcast, but it was great having you
Yeah.
on, man.
I appreciate it, man. This is it's been fun.
All right.
I love that you've been doing this. This is great. Keep it up.
Thank you, sir. Bye bye.